You're watching Fugitive Red Eye, and welcome to another episode of Anime Encyclopedia. Today we're going to be talking about Violence Jack. That was the second place in the poll. They're actually tied now, because even though the poll is over, people still vote on it for some reason. It's like, I already did the Cutie Honey video. You can't very well make me not have already done it. But this was in second place and is now currently tied at 44% with Cutie Honey, now that there's been some additional votes. But Violence Jack is a series I quite like. I would be wearing my Violence Jack t-shirt right now, but it's in the wash because I'm doing laundry at the time of this recording. And this is the time I chose to do it, so oh well. Violence Jack, 1986. Violence Jack Harlem Bomber. Violence Jack Jigo Kugai. Violence Jack Violence Jack Hell's Wind, aka Violence Jack Slum King, Violence Jack Evil Town, Violence Jack Hell's Wind. Video. Director Seiji Okuda, Ichiro Itano. Screenplay by Noboru Aikawa, Takuya Wada, Makio Matsushita. Designed by Takuya Wada, Moriyasu Taniguchi. Animated by Takuya Wada, Moriyasu Taniguchi. Music by Hiroshi Ogasawara. Produced by Ashi Productions, Studio 88. Dynamic planning. 30 minutes times 2 episodes, Harlem/Slum King. 30 minutes times 2 episodes, Helltown. 60-minute Hell's Winds. Huh. Yeah, they got that a little weird. There's only 3 episodes, so I don't know why they did it like that. I guess because of the various different recut versions. I don't fucking know. Also, Harlem Bomber is actually originally called Harem Bomber, and Harlem Bomber is one of 2 translations of it, one of them being Slum King, and one of them being Harlem Bomber. Again, it's Harem Bomber in the original. A comet strikes Earth and causes a chain reaction of other cataclysms. In Japan, the fault line gives way in the mother of all earthquakes, while the long-dormant volcano Mount Fuji erupts in a spectacular cloud of ash and lava. Survivors trapped in the Tokyo subway system turn into savage tunnel tribes. Gangs of motorcycle bandits roam the land in search of resources. And through the midst of it all walks Violence Jack, a mountain of a man with superhuman strength, inhuman fangs, and absolutely no scruples. That's not entirely true. I did a whole video talking about the moral code of Violence Jack, because he definitely does have a moral code. He is definitely a lot more willing to be more brutal than, like, say, Kenshiro or similar protagonists. But he does definitely have morals. They're just a lot more harsh and brutal, as fits the world he's in. Jack is an elemental force, wandering the desolate land like Hell's own lawman, coming to the rescue of the assaulted, raped, and injured survivors, but not before the camera has permitted us a long, lingering look at their torments. These include stabbings, shootings, eviscerations, chainsaw decapitation, and someone eating his dead lover. Well, that's mostly talking about Evil Town, although the chainsaw stuff is from Hell's Wind. Often thought to be an inferior remake of Fist of the North Star, Violence Jack actually predates it, starting as a 1973 manga in Garaku magazine. As the sequel to Go Nagai's Devilman, again, a sequel, not the sequel, but it is a sequel to Devilman. Again, there's 2 canon sequels, Devilman Lady and Devilman Saga. I've already been over this countless times. Moving on. The video necessarily condensed much of the epic original, Nagai's longest, into a broader, more basic, and much less shocking package. Yeah, I know, the OVAs actually are less shocking than the manga, which I didn't originally know, because I hadn't read the later chapters, which are way more fucked up. Though it remains extremely violent and nasty even when censored. The UK running time is considerably shorter than the original. The lead character, with the strength of a gorilla, the teeth of a wolf, blood boiling with the fire of prehistory, is named for the huge jackknife he carries. And the anime focuses on his volcanic nature rather than the tangle of subplots and reincarnations of the manga. Well, to be fair, that reincarnation stuff wasn't introduced until way later, so that's why. Although the first episode has nothing to do with the manga, but I wonder if they'll acknowledge that. The basic post-apocalyptic plots of the video version, with knowing winks to Mad Max, although Violence Jack also predates Mad Max with the manga, were originally intended to have some internal coherence, but were released in the wrong order outside of Japan. That's true. Harem Bomber is the first episode, but it was released 3rd in the US. And then Evil Town, also known as Helltown, was the second episode, but it's the first episode that got released in the US. And then Hell's Wind was the third, but it was the second one released in the US, so they released it in the order of 2, 3, 1 when it came to the US. But, again, since the episodes themselves are rather self-contained, I don't necessarily think that's much of a problem. The first episode, showing the comet hitting Earth and explaining that Jack is the personification of the Grim Reaper, well, kinda. Like, I get what they're going for, but I mean, that's not a literal plot point. Born from a mound of skulls. Well, he's not born from a mound of skulls. That's not true. There's like a bunch of skulls at the beginning, but he's not born from a mound of skulls. His origins are left intentionally mysterious for most of the series, and in the OVAs it's never elaborated on. The episode is actually Slum King, which was inexplicably the last episode to be released in the English version. Yes. That is the episode that was first in Japan and last in the US. Again, Harem Bomber, Harlem Bomber, Slum King are all technically the same episode, just under different titles. To be fair, the muddled running order hardly makes any difference. The boss of UK's manga entertainment, Mike Priest, coined the term beer and curry movie for those anime destined to be watched by a group of inebriated teenage boys in search of sex and violence. Now, I think that's a little bit negative on the series almost, although I do think that that would be an apt way to watch it. I think that it's still very fun to watch in general, just sober and no matter what age you are. Well, I wouldn't recommend it to kids, obviously, it's pretty fucked up, but you know what I mean. I don't think it's something you outgrow. It's like a fun, dumb action movie with the OVAs. When you watch it dubbed, that is. When you watch it subbed, it still kind of gives the same vibe. Without the broader context of the manga, it is mostly just an action movie type thing when you're just watching it all at once. But it's fucking great. And Violence Jack is exactly what he meant. Those with higher hopes for the anime industry find the show embarrassingly infantile. Fuck you. It's a masterpiece. I don't know why everyone's so fucking negative on it just because it's controversial. Including the English language voice cast, who appear to be using pseudonyms. I mean, that was a common trait with OVAs back in the day, so I don't think that's just exclusively a Violence Jack thing. So, maybe slightly opinionated at the end there, trying to say that it's bad, because it's absolutely not. Like, it's violent, it's fucked up, and it's dark, but luckily not as much opinionation this time, and not any unrelated tangents like they did with the previous one. So overall, it was fine. Not the worst entry I've done. I love Violence Jack. I think it's definitely one of the most underrated animes there are. The manga's way better. But anyway, that's all I have to say for today. This has been Fugitive Red Eye. Toodles.
Oh, I cry myself to sleep!
I'm being bombarded by meat, just like your average Saturday night.